Hello class, now we're adding that extra effects that we talked about using markers and water. It's gonna be a really nice lesson. Let's get started right away. So we have our drawings ready and so we're going to now add some marker lines. I'm gonna use my pinks and reds. These are water-based markers. I'm gonna use also some orange and some yellows. So you're gonna pick your warm colors for your hibiscus. So I like to first color in some areas that I know I'm gonna wanna have them light and keep them lighter. I'm gonna leave some areas lighter. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of picking like the middle of the petal, as you can see, with the light as it curves would hit the most and the flower would be the lightest. Then the darkest I'm gonna pick at the very bottom of the petal, outlining all the areas of the darker ones that we already outlined a little, creating a little bit more definition, going over all those pencil lines with the darkest line. And I'm gonna do that really quick here to just show you how that looks like. And you can shade it and take more time. So we are going to color it in. You see how I'm going a little deeper with this than I did with the pencil. So I can go around that. And don't worry about covering the pencil too much because we're gonna remove some of that marker with the water technique I'm gonna show you. So the middle tone, and still leave white areas because you don't wanna completely remove the area where everything is gonna be blending. So as I'm doing this in the third color tone, I am leaving white areas around that are blendable that I can go with the water and just blend it in, and I will show you that technique. So those white areas that are left are very important. We want those light areas. Okay, put away your markers when you're done with your flower so that accidentally you don't put marker into the water because the marker won't work after that. So we want to put away the marker once we start using the water. And we're going to start blending and moving that paint around the flower, creating the middle tones. So it's going to blend in and it's going to dissolve the marker because it's water-based, and we're going to create that middle tone, that pink middle tone. And it's best to show you this when I do a close-up, but you probably see how this is all blending in. And I'm gonna bring it closer to the camera too so you can see. And we used it like a watercolor with that marker by blending in the different colors of markers. And we can still see the pencil lines. You see how the pencil line still pops through the watercolor and the marker? We can still see them. Okay, so let's do it again. I'll show you again. So we can choose a different composition. So I can do the lightest at the very ends on my flowers, like this at the end of the petal and the stamen. So using my yellow, this is a highlighter, but I can also use this yellow. It's going to be slightly different. It's going to help me blending it even more to achieve another look to it. Then we're gonna go into the orange. I'm gonna do these lines with the orange, so that's gonna blend in hopefully nicely. And I'll do this one, This hibiscus, I'll do the red on the very, very end, inside of the petal, the darkest areas on the bottom of each petal this time, just to show you that variation. Okay, so now I'm ready to blend, so I'll take my brush, my clean brush, and I'm just going to spread the paint across the petal like so. And this paper already has a slight yellow on it, a slight pink tone. It doesn't show on the camera very good, but it is a really nice soft pink color of the paper that I'm already using. So on the white paper, it will show even more if you have a white paper. You will need a hardier paper to hold the water. You don't want just the copy paper. Okay, so that spreads the paint a little bit, if you can see. And we can do the same by creating the leaves. Again, pick different tones of greens, darker, lighter greens, and shade them in. Leave some white areas though, not just the darker areas. Leave those white areas so the color can blend. I would also use some yellows on top, like so. And we are going to blend that in. And we're gonna keep finishing our painting by coloring everything in. I'm gonna let you finish that on your own. Remember, do not try to add marker to the wet area because the marker will not work anymore. So once it's wet, do not try to add more marker to that. Just allow it to spread and blend. The best way is just first do all the markers, and then we will collect the markers away so you don't make a mistake by adding the markers into the wet areas and breaking the marker, because it will not work well after you put it in the wet surface. You don't want to make the marker itself wet. And remember, do not color all of your white areas. You really want that white area to create that shade in between those two colors. But it is a really nice way to learn how to shade and blend in a nice and simple way. And you will see it spreading around very nicely. And it's gonna create this lovely composition that looks like a watercolor, even though we used markers. And I know you're gonna love this lesson so much. And I'll see you in our next lesson. Now is your turn.